Damn, that was a good bus driver. All right, well, today's Wednesday, and it's just after 5 p.m. What's today? April 19th. So we're here in the financial district of downtown Los Angeles. And people make fun of LA like there's no real downtown, but it's actually one of the larger employment centers. I'm not gonna go too much off topic, but this is the Metro Regional Connector. So the train actually goes under here, and it's cut and cover, so it's only a few feet below the surface until about here. Then it goes into a deep bore tunnel. But there was a debate early on as to whether or not to put a station here. So this is kind of this is the box, which is if there's ever an emergency, or if they ever needed to make it sometime in the future, it's there. I'm kind of glad they didn't do a station here because I think it would have bogged down the entire system. And instead, if you're on the A line or the blue line, as I like to call it, you'll hit 7th and Metro down there, which is off in the distance. So after 7th and Metro, you're gonna jam, and the next station up there is the Bunker Hill station. So we're now in the sphere of influence of the next station. Pretty much anyone that needed to get here on the train in these buildings would come from 7th and Metro. I used to work in those buildings, and I know that before the pandemic, I had a bunch of coworkers that took mass transit to work. And after the pandemic, it switched to people driving to work, and a combination of people driving to work and people threatening to quit their jobs if they don't get to work from home. So these buildings here, not this hotel, but these buildings and almost all the buildings in downtown Los Angeles are not empty, but next to empty. I used to walk to the office because that's why I moved here. I moved to be within walking distance of work, but that's kind of irrelevant nowadays. But there are plenty of people that do take the train and take transit to work down here still. It's just a lot less than it used to be. It was actually kind of a thing. It's like kind of cool working in an office where people took the bus or took the train or took the long bus from Antelope Valley or whatever. And it was interesting. But I'll give you the number one reason why people don't want to drive here. There is traffic and Californians are kind of used to it, but this is the reason right here. $40 a day. Fortunately, there's other lots around here that are cheaper, but it's still like 16 bucks. And if you park your car in here, it's going to be safe as can be. It's locked up like Fort Knox. They got armies of security guys that work for these buildings. That's why they're bleeding money. So people don't like parking in sketchy areas, and everyone in the office has stories about encounters they had with homeless people and stuff. So the kind of stuff that I'm totally used to, but the suburban coworkers. So the sphere of influence now is going to switch to the next station, which is the Bunker Hill station. This is 4th Street. This isn't a freeway. This is actually kind of a elongated off-ramp. The theory was you get off the 110 freeway, which connects to the 10 and the 101, and you can get off at this ramp right here. So you get off this ramp and you don't even have to slow down under 60, and you got an off-ramp basically to hypothetically your office's parking garage, if you could afford $40 a day. So this is the side of Bunker Hill right here. I can throw up a picture of what it used to look like right here. But so there's a maze of all these pedestrian bridges around here, and they're basically for the various office buildings. This one goes from the Bonaventure Hotel. I think it's the 5th floor up there. If you go look over there where I said the hill was starting, so these are parking garages. They're kind of carved into the side of Bunker Hill here. So it's about 5:30 now, so I guess I hit it right at the right spot at 5 o'clock. There just happen to be legions of people leaving their parking garages all at the same time. So I guess what I'm going to do is see if I can sneak my dogs into the hotel. Oh yeah, I'm walking my dogs too. I wonder if I can sneak into the hotel. So there are plenty of buses. And that's down there's a bus lane, but it's more of a Amazon and FedEx lane. But a lot of people take the bus. I'm surprised that so many people are getting on the freeway. This looks like a scene from the 80s. You think by now people would know that your best bet is almost always to take side streets in and out of downtown LA. I don't understand. That 110 is packed solid right there. I only use it on the weekends or late at night. It's kind of useless otherwise, but if you take side streets, it's kind of annoying, but it still gets you there. All right, so let's see if we can find this bridge. We're gonna go up these stairs. Emergency exit only. No. All right, well that didn't happen. That sound is the alarms for when people come out of the garage with their cars. Totally annoying. Let's just call it the current state of affairs. You know, this was kind of a not too bad area to walk around in, but now it's like it kind of stinks because, believe it or not, there was a time where all these bridges and that escalator right there and all that stuff was all connected. So it was really cool. It was like walking around a beehive around here because there's just so many layers. So it's not pedestrian friendly per se, but it is an awkwardly, I don't know even how to phrase it. It's just, it's clearly dedicated to cars because you can see everything's got a parking garage below it. And I wouldn't mind betting that there's basement floors. In fact, LA's first subway tunnel went just right around, legend has it, the Bonaventure Hotel parking basement floor is what made that inoperable, but it was closed for years before that too. So yeah, there's even parking underneath the ground, so it's underground and it's into the side of the mountain and up towards the sky. Lots of parking. So there's the last overpass. This is Flower Street, so this is right around where the regional connector tunnel is gonna make a right. So this train is gonna go to Long Beach, it's gonna go to Azusa, and eventually Pomona. It's gonna go to Santa Monica, it's gonna go to East LA, eventually Whittier, where else? There's the regional connector station off in the distance, right across the street from the Walt Disney Concert Hall. So I guess we gotta cross, and I gotta be careful because people this time of the day drive like crazy. Even suburban people are just, everyone drives crazy around here. So I know that myself and my dogs are the last thing that people are paying attention to. So here's some regional infrastructure improvement. Looks like they just paved the street, so that's nice. So this is Flower Street right here. It's the beginning of it. Flower Street veers into Hope Street up there. And there's the tunnel. On the other side of the tunnel is Grand Central Market. So all these buildings are sitting on what was the highest elevation in the area. And just a reminder, look at all that ground floor brutalistic parking garages. That is crazy. All right, wish me luck, because none of these people care if I'm alive or dead right now. Here, especially that lady. So this is always awkward because I just assume that nobody's paying attention. So I'm too embarrassed to make eye contact with people while I'm holding my camera and walking my dogs like a douchebag. But normally what I do is just make eye contact with anyone that can kill me. And so far that's kept me alive. So this is like the 101 freeways up there. The Music Center, the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, the Disney Concert Hall. So after a concert, this area gets really congested with a lot of cars. So this area was redeveloped in the 1960s, and I believe these were the first new residential in downtown. And they were built in the 1960s, thereabouts. All right, well, there it is. Grand Avenue, Bunker Hill Station. So it's kind of crazy to think that of all places where there's a new metro station opening, that it would be right here in this sleepy little corner. But it's amazing to see how the Disney Concert Hall, which was built in 2003, kind of meets up with the Broad, which is probably about, what, 8 years old by now. So not really a time that has like typical stylish legacy, but these are very attractive buildings in my humble opinion. Most of them. Some of them are kind of, yeah. That one's hit or miss. That building would be cool if it was wrapped in some sort of granite or marble or anything terrazzo, but it's just cheap stucco. All right, well, I will assume that it's safe to walk because they got a red light. Just get the hell across this. So they were saying that they widened the streets around here, and that was there was an article about it, and that's not true. They actually made the lanes more narrow. I think what they're referring to is this, but this is actually a very important little street, because after an event at the Music Center, the Walt Disney Concert Hall or something, there is a ton of confused people in Lexuses. Everyone drives an 06 Lexus from these events, and there's thousands of them, but there's epic traffic jams that happen around here, and it's mainly because people get confused. Look at that, it just happens to be a military helicopter. But people get really confused after events around here. They're not familiar with the area, and even if you know where you're going, your GPS is going to confuse the hell out of you. So this street prevents anyone that maybe is lost, it gives them a chance to make a U-turn, because if you miss this, then you have to go all the way down to 6th Street, which is back even farther than where we started at. On the design thing, it looked really wide, but that's just because it's got individual turn lanes. So this is where the station meets the bridge that meets the Broad Museum. And also there's office buildings, apartments. Through the pandemic, this was like my walking spot, because it was the only place where I felt comfortable, you know, resting and sitting down and stuff like that. It's actually a very well secured area. But who knows, the elevators are made of glass, so there's 3 of them. They're very big. They've got a pulley system and not a hydraulic system, so it means they're going to be pretty quick. So you're going to go from the station to the street level, and then I believe it's pretty far down there is the new subway platform. So it's going to be weird taking an elevator, because anytime I've ever taken the elevator on the metro system, there have been times where I'm like, there's no reason to joke around or anything like that. I'm just maybe helping an elderly friend or something like that, and I just start dry heaving, and it's awful. The elevators in the metro system are terrible. They don't need to be cleaned out daily. They need to be cleaned out like 10 times a day. If they wanted to keep a station clean, they'd be able to do it. So it'll be clean for the first few years at least, but hopefully in the future we have people start taking more pride in their community and keep places clean, and start shaming people that are trashing it. It's like we don't have to live in trash if we don't want to. So this is the cars coming from the Grand Avenue, lower Grand Avenue. Where we started off at 4th Street, there's a subterranean street that gets access to all these buildings and their parking garages. Alright, so that's the regional connector, Grand Avenue, Bunker Hill Station. So the main course of travel is going to be over this bridge. But for the time being, we're going to take these stairs, which go up to the museum. So that's Olive Street and the other side of Bunker Hill over there. So we'll go over there in a minute. So to get from the Broad Museum pretty soon you're gonna have a bridge. So you take the bridge to the elevator, and there you have it. You're at the beach in a little over an hour. There has to be a reasonable amount of access that's given to the area, the way that the community plan was developed. So that's kind of cool, unless you're causing a problem. Or sometimes photography of some of the office buildings, they really don't like that. This is a very nice area to walk around in.
I thought that really helped.
So easy access from that stop to the Walt Disney Concert Hall, the Music Center, the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, etc., etc. Super easy, just a quick walk. So I've got a green light. These people don't look like they're gonna stop. So you got a Mad Dog people. It's like they're on their way home from work. They're all tired and they're just zoned out. They're not paying attention to anything. So this is Upper Grand right here, which kind of is about the height of the original Bunker Hill, maybe a little bit higher. So what they actually did is they dug down and excavated. So there's subterranean parking everywhere around here. So if you come by here, there's oftentimes people playing uphill, doing donuts down there, and doing their rudimentary videos and photo shoots. And there's a ton of car commercials down there too. So if you're coming to downtown LA to visit after next year, I think it's going to open probably the first quarter of 2024, but who knows. But in the future when you come here, this is going to be an excellent location for your visit. And down there is a glorified food court for the office. This was all master planned. This is part of the California Community Redevelopment Agency. So these were public-private. Very creepy when you think about it, like in today's way of things. It's like they were able to evict thousands of people to build. I mean, are these buildings for the public good? No. I mean, they're pretty, but it seems kind of creepy and draconian that they were able to do that at one time. So this area is essentially open 24/7. You can walk around here. And as long as you're not doing anything bad, they won't kick you out. There's lots of seating. And a stage where they have concerts. And there used to be a giant fountain or water feature. And the funny thing about this is that whole thing used to be a water feature. That whole area down there used to float over water, so you could see the reflection of the water through the cracks. And I think they took it out first just for maintenance because it was a maintenance nightmare. So super quick walk from the regional connector station to the Angels flight. Oh, the gate's open. The last few times I was here, I guess they lock it at night. So this looks like it would be a beautiful park, but unfortunately it's not. It's a development site. It's been here forever. It was a park for a very brief period of time, and it was an awesome park. It would be nice to have right now. I don't know why we need another office building that's going to sit empty. This is Olive Street. So they kind of excavated this, and then they built the the building above it. Actually, that's the Plaza area up there. But it is a shame that that is closed off to the public. So we're out of the regional connectors sphere, because if you were, from this point on, we're going to get anywhere, you would probably just go to the metro, oh, what is it? Is it B? The red line. Right down this steep ass hill. So we'll just call this part 1. I don't know if there's ever going to be a part 2 or 3, but definitely wanted to explore the area before it opens, so you can see what it was like before. It was very sleepy. So that was Bunker Hill, and I guess that makes this the Flats. This is Hill Street, Grand Central Market, La Cita. A couple cool bars, Slipper Cutch.